Welcome to our show, everyone. I am Hari, and we have a very wonderfully unique and classic historical topic lined up for you today.
And I am Kimi. Today we are exploring an absolute legend of the American roadside that is both a literal and architectural icon, the Big Duck of Long Island, New York. It is an incredibly whimsical masterpiece with a very surprising amount of rich history and local lore behind its fascinating design.
This is not just any poultry-themed shop. It is a spectacular 20-foot-tall ferro-cement building shaped like a Pekin duck. Measuring 15 by 30 feet in plan with an 11 by 15-foot interior of usable space. This landmark became a canonical, world-famous example of novelty architecture.
Yes, also known as mimetic architecture, which was a growing trend in the late 1920s. As automobiles became popular, people drove very fast, so businesses built giant milk bottles, tea kettles, and dogs to catch the attention of all those speeding motorists rapidly passing by.
Exactly. Long Island's duck farming industry was thriving then. It started in the early 19th century and exploded when the American Pekin breed arrived in 1873. By 1939, Suffolk County had 90 farms producing 3 million ducks annually. Today, only Crescent Duck Farm remains in Aquebogue, which opened in 1908.
So in 1931, a local duck farmer named Martin Maurer decided he needed a shop to sell ducks and eggs. He was inspired by a trip to California where he stopped at the Ben-Hur coffee shop on Wilshire Boulevard, which had a giant 15-foot stucco coffee pot on top. He reportedly planned the whole thing right there while eating his lunch.
Legend has it Maurer sketched his own duck design on a napkin right there during lunch. After returning home, local contractors turned down the project, thinking it was absurd. But Maurer persisted, hiring carpenter George Reeve and Broadway set designers William and Samuel Collins to bring his dream to life.
That theatrical connection is brilliant. They used a live duck as a model and examined a cooked chicken carcass to get the skeletal anatomy correct. The masonry team applied 4 coats of Atlas cement over wire mesh. The eyes were Ford Model T taillights that glowed red at night.
It cost $3,800 then, which is about $63,000 today. It opened in Riverhead in June 1931, instantly catching the public's eye. It was featured on Atlas Cement's promotional calendar and in Popular Mechanics, noting its foundation. There was even a miniature version built by the Drake Baking Company at the 1939 World's Fair. The original building was moved multiple times, first in 1937 to Flanders. Then, in 1988, after the shop closed, Suffolk County moved it to Sears Bellows County Park. They publicized the move with a giant suitcase-shaped sign that read, "Lost my nest," keeping the mimetic theme going very strong.
There was a $60,000 proposal in 2004 to move it to MacArthur Airport to boost tourism. While that failed, the duck returned to Flanders in 2007. Local house-moving contractor Guy Davis donated his services, and the town prepared the route. Now it holds an annual Christmas lighting ceremony similar to Rockefeller Center, which both started in 1931.
Now let us talk about its massive academic legacy. It literally gave birth to the term duck in academic literature. Critic Peter Blake first attacked it in his 1964 book, God's Own Junkyard, using it as a prime example of tacky roadside junk. He contrasted it with idyllic photos of families playing happily with real ducks near a peaceful pond.
But in 1977, Robert Venturi and Denise Scott Brown flipped that script in Learning from Las Vegas. They defined a duck as a very special building where the structure itself is a symbol, contrasting it with a decorated shed, which is a normal, conventional building with applied signs. They called it a highly unique, beautiful sculptural symbol and architectural shelter.
That is a huge distinction. Authors like Gabrielle Esperti argue this analysis immortalized the building, even prompting photographer John Margulies to document it. Historian Caroline O'Donnell also highlighted it as architecture parlante, which is where form humorously and provocatively speaks its function. Some scholars even credit its proximity to celebrated artists like Jackson Pollock for its ultimate creative fame.
And James Wines noted it ignored modernism's form follows function rule, creating a new duck design theory where form follows fantasy. It even drew comparisons to the massive, full-scale Noah's Ark at the Ark Encounter theme park for its literalist advertising function, bridging the gap between sculpture and building.
But the academic influence did not stop with buildings. Statistician Edward Tufte explicitly adapted the term for information design. In his famous book on quantitative data, he defines a duck as a graphic taken over by flamboyant decorative elements, or computer debris, calling it chartjunk.
So, if you make a chart where the visual style overrides the actual data, you have designed a duck. It's incredible how one farmer's quirky farm stand became a foundational term in both visual statistics and modern architectural theory. It's really a wild connection.
It really shows that folk art can have a very profound, lasting impact. The Big Duck is a true testament to American roadside creativity, surviving changing times, strict environmental regulations, and local real estate booms.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into Flanders' most famous resident. Have a very wonderful day, stay curious, and we will catch you all in the next episode.
This episode is based on the Wikipedia article Big Duck, which is available under the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license. This podcast was crafted using artificial intelligence.